Hey, everybody. I know, getting dizzy from all that shaking. Well, I'm a little early. We are with me, which is the Wicked Lady Hippy at the bar live. Um, I'm already doing the thing. That bodes well. Live chat's up. Throw it in the comments. Hit the bell. Subscribe. It's free. I don't care. They care. I consider this to be social Woodstock. I love this thing. Um, excuse me. Like I said, it's off to a bad start. For some reason, I can't kind of honed in on certain things today. I like to go. I got to quit saying. I like to go over whatever current events there are, who's dropped what into what podcasts, what's trending. It seems to be the thing to say. Yes, I get up here and I fidget. I do not. Again, I do not have a person who comes over and says your makeup's off wrong or your dress is the wrong way. I love this little thing. It's got this white little hood, and then there's it's a little bit of a fur kind of look, and that starts at the waist. There's another pattern in the middle that's white. Same with the back, and then the bodice is the same as the two side panels, and it's got that kind of a wave effect. That's extra material, so it kind of walks with a flow look, and I love those. And I like the just slide on a dress. You don't have to do all this other stuff. When I'm wearing pants, I'm wearing, a blazer and all these other things. So it's just easier, and I can slide into it. And I'm looking at the camera because I'm in my small square here, and I'm trying to figure out what's going on behind me. It'll be a cat photo bombing me before long. They do it every time. I'm not sure why, but I warn you now, there'll be a pretty good chance for one or two cats to slip in. I think they just like to be on the air with me. I don't know what else to call it. I am, let's see, background. Kind of, I don't know what's with the today. I don't keep a particular set of rules as to what I'm willing to talk about, who I'm willing to talk about within reason and minding your manners. I like to talk about everything, the paranormal, history, today's events. The one thing that we weren't allowed to do when we were kids, and I can see why now in particular, you didn't talk about politics or religion. That was just, verbotim. You did not do that. It was forbidden. Yes, I was in Germany and places on verbotim, I think. So that one thing that we all picked up on here in the United States, but it's not said as much as it used to be. I don't think anybody realized that what it was when they said it. Once they found out it was, maybe we should change that. And so I'm off to the races a little early today. I've already got my stiffener. I thought it was appropriate since they opened the government again. Hallelujah. To use my DC signal cup. So we've got that. And a little bit of white frosted trees and a gold rim on both. So this is my effort at trying to coordinate today. And I am doing it again. Army veteran, published author, mother of one, grandmother of two, still married. Yeah, he takes a lot of grief. He does not wish to be on camera, so I always have to be careful if he has to go back and forth because I'm at the bar, a little backwards on the bar. Okay, and here's again, we were redoing the home, and he had ripped out the carpet for me, what was left of it, and I could not get over the different patterns of mold we found underneath this carpet. Fantastic. Looked like a Picasso painting in a way. Pink and yellow and green and purple. Well, there's no black, so painted the house. My husband did all that work by himself, and then I got injured, and so that put a kind of slow on it. But the reason we have redone the whole bottom of the house, besides all of those, is because he wanted a bar. He beat cancer, stage 4, and I thought, wait, whatever you want to do at this rate, you can do. If you can afford it, you can have it. We've always paid the bills first. We might have 33 cents left, but we're pretty good about that. So he said, I found this bar, it's $300, I think it was, and I'm going to run down and get it. okay, doesn't take anybody with him, takes a couple of tie downs, a couple of bunch of cords, and he doesn't get back till dark. And he calls me before then. He says, I didn't know about this bar. I thought it was little. We had discussed where to put it in the dining room. He said, it's not little. And I sent you a photo. So I pull it up and I go, well, where the hell are we supposed to put this thing? It's a bar. It's a Remington bar. It's a very nice bar, with the matching mirror on the opposite wall that's just as big as the bar is wide and just it takes up the whole. Yeah. So we redid the whole scheme downstairs. So you're at my bar. I had the accident. It was out 10 months. You would also find me under Lady Hippy at the bar, which is what I was for a year or so before the accident. I came back. The channel gave me shit. So, yes, Army shows up here occasionally. This is not for kids. If you have them in the room, please let them go to another room. So, that's me, kind of in a nutshell. Now, to talk about everybody else. I love this shit. Social Woodstock, you just can't go wrong with that. You just can't. I have a stiffener because when I was growing up, I was 9 when I was adopted. I was reading college level at 9, so I remember things. They were born in 1914, so they were grandparents, really. And they were like World War I, Depression, World War II, bam. And here you are, it's the beginning of the 70s, say. And I kept noticing the women would faint. And they never hit, and they never hit the floor. And all my life I couldn't faint. But they would say, go get the hooch. And they didn't know what was up there, just whatever it was. Bring that in one of the glasses they kept up there with it. They're waking them up with capsules and stuff. So, and they called it everything was hooch unless it was beer. They used to run moonshine. Him and my adopted dad and his brothers ran moonshine. It was amazing to hear some of the stories. They were killing them folk. I mean, not the moonshine runners, but the police was trying everything they could to kill them off. They weren't trying to catch them; they was trying to kill them. So, some of these stories were very harrowing to listen to. I'll tell you. Like, what were you doing? So, the women would be given whatever woman it was. It didn't matter. Some male would be in the vicinity and saying, "Get her this or get." So they would have the stiffener, and then they'd say, "Well, how you doing?" I feel better. I need to go make dinner. Get her another one. They'd stop at 3, and dinner was great. I mean, those were happy times. I thought there was a lot of fun. I really did. So that's what I have a stiffener for. I can't faint, but that doesn't seem to be part of the reason you always have a stiffener. It's just kind of a boost. So I keep a stiffener when I'm up here. I had to quit smoking years ago, so I used to vape. I still do occasionally. And a friend of ours came here to the bar one time, and I saw he had this. I had to see this because I said, I haven't seen those since Europe. I used to smoke this. They were smaller because we used to sell our American cigarettes to the Germans. They liked the American cigarettes and Jack Daniels and our ice cream. I digress. I tried it. I loved that. And my husband is really good guy to me. So he buys these because if I start buying them myself, I would start smoking. And I'm allowed to do this while I'm up here. So I have my cigarillo, my little cigar, I have my stiffener, and I've got you guys. So if there's anything you want to talk about, if you just barely catching me and you catch me when I'm not on live, throw it in the comments. I try to pick up everybody. I usually run it between 10 to 2. So if you hit the notification, you'll know when I'm up here in case I missed one of your questions. I had the cutest thing the other day about how funny they thought I was. I was like, that's cool. Yeah, it's for entertainment purposes only. I don't know why. Yeah, it's not really that funny, but that's what category I have. So I guess I have to try to be funny or at least entertaining. I'm failing miserably at both. So that's kind of me in a nutshell kind of thing. And I found that there was quite a lot in some ways going on. Besides, they finally got the House members to go back to work to open the government, which they've been screaming that the Senate has been keeping closed. And it took them 2 days to bring their sorry asses back to the Capitol. And yes, again, Sometimes Army shows up. This isn't for kids. So, whatever you wish to talk about, you want to talk about how much I think the White House is looking so much better. When I served up there, and I served my country for years, decades, and oh, I know I look good. Thank you so much. You look great. Now, it looks good. I remember when I was working up there when I was serving, I kept it was a joke, and the Watergate hotels was still open. We used to go there for drinks and lunch. And I had a senator, I had to drop names, but he would always tell me, they're going to shoot you. He was very serious. I finally did leave a little early, actually. They're going to shoot you, stop. So it's good for me anyway, because I used to say, it's not a White House, it's a gray house. Get a coat of paint for the love of God. It's just like the George Washington Mountain Monument. I'm like, okay, so you couldn't find the same color of marble. So why don't you do like an outer casing or something on the marble? You had anything to make it's terrible. It's terrible. I like the Lincoln Monument. I love that. Uh, it's amazing. I had watched the thing about 1881, Death by Lightning. If you haven't seen it, I shouldn't probably say what it is, but it's about Garfield's execution by someone, assassination, in 1881. And I was astonished because this President Garfield was soon elected out of nowhere. He didn't want to be president. He was voting in a different way, with the Electoral College. And somehow at the Electoral College, they voted him in as president. So I immediately went, oh my God, they're still doing the same shit. Watch that movie if you get a chance. You'll know what I mean. Our government, Donald Trump is making a lot of good things, and I can't say about bad things. I think there's something weird with and I'm not sure why everybody's still talking about it, but the Epstein file thing, they've come out, I guess was saying, they've come out with pictures of Trump and Epstein. And I'm like, Trump went everywhere. He saw everybody. He didn't look into everybody's background. I don't think he had time to do that back then. And it was young. He was young. He was married to Melania already, but still, what he would have been early 50s. He's got this picture or two here and there. Apparently, it's in the email chats or something like that. But he was probably trying to sell him a fucking building. I mean, but they want to twist and turn it instead of reporting on what it actually is, like Hunter Biden's laptop. It's like I always call it down at the new uh, place they put together in Florida for the detainees who are not supposed to be here legally anyway, because they're criminals and we wouldn't have let them in. But then, so there's two strikes because they're here illegally and they're wanted criminals in many countries because they just dumped their asses out over here going, we can empty this shit out. They did. I like they'll sit that's if you're going to be a prisoner and you've done the atrocities that these people are guilty of. I like the place. So I immediately started calling ours of Florida Gator Gitmo. Don't steal that. That's mine. I'm going to put a patent on that. Yeah, Gator Gitmo sounded so perfect, though. So I get the strangest things. I'll probably get a few about that one, but that's mine, Gator Gitmo. I think they belong there as they're being processed out of the country. It's a pity we can't put more in El Cid because these people are guilty of a lot of bad things. And that's not everybody, but everybody is out there is trying to hurt ICE for doing their job and getting rid of this 3-time rapist or this 4-time murderer. These are not nice people. There are 47 different stores that have left New York after being just smashed and grabbed, as they call it, 2-3 times. Walgreens closed. I mean, this is a big thing. And I noticed recently that when I went to Walmart, it's just a little garden store. I mean, it's a small Walmart. It's a grocery store. And so I usually hit them because they're a little bit better than Kroger, and I've been using them. Although now a new Kroger opened up here just before the hurricane. They're like me waiting to get treated. It took a month to get my surgery from my accident. So I was bedridden for 10 months, basically, and I'm just coming out of physical therapy now, so to speak. I mean, doing it at home. But I go to the VA, and the VA finally outsourced me after a month to the University of Augusta. And it was a month to the day the surgeon saw me there. And he's like, "This has been a month. You will be here in the morning at 4:30 for surgery. You can do that, can't you?" Oh, yes, sir. And it was supposed to have been like a 5 or 6 hour surgery. It's like 15 hours. And, the husband's worried and the kids calling. We both have one child, so our kids have steps. They don't consider themselves that. So I generally don't make that a point either, because I never did either. And her birth mother has passed away, my stepdaughter. My son's probably waiting for that news. Keep disappointing. I'm not sure why I'm still here. I am of the generation, the hippie crowd, even though I did serve in the government for all these decades. I'm retired now. So I can say what the hell I want because it's still free speech for now. I learned that they have arrested or done something to like 12,000 people in 1 year in Britain itself. And in the satellites, they edited them all together. It wasn't that much from any country. And all of it is on, you can't speak this way, you can't post this way, and you can't say anything about the illegal aliens or immigrants or whatever the hell they're calling them nowadays. You can't say any of that. And the worst one I saw at first, when it first started out there, was the mother who had put up something on Facebook. I don't recall what it was. I could look it up if anybody wants to talk about it. But she posted something. She took it down. They put her in jail for 32 months. Even if there were people dancing when Charlie Kirk was killed. And yes, I always say, and I remind myself, I will mention at least his name on every podcast I do. This boy was gunned down in the prime of his life by what they're saying is this 23-year-old. They're saying it was a 30-06 World War I rifle that was used, made one shot. I got news for you folks. Not even on a small grain load for a 30-06, he would have been decapitated. Literally, there would. I mean, yeah. So that didn't make a lot of sense. A lot of it hasn't made a lot of sense. FBI's in, the FBI's out. The FBI's in, the FBI's out. We got the guy. Nope, that's not the guy. We got the guy this time. No, that's not the guy. We got in this time. We ain't gonna tell you shit. And they didn't after that. I try not to laugh because the only way I knew this boy was through prove me wrong at the universities and college campuses. I did not know he had a podcast. I did not know he was involved in the politics with the mega movement. I did not know he was working with these kids to say, you want change, then get your asses out there and vote. I didn't know any of that. I'd only seen him on Prove Me Wrong. And I loved how he did that. I love a good debate myself. Please jump in anytime. Live chat's on. So this is how I knew him. And I walked in the house of groceries and they said we always leave news on for some reason. I do. And I came back in the room and I heard that he'd been shot instantly. I heard that. And I keep going. I'm like, he's going to be all right. They're going to let us know probably shortly he's okay. And went back to open doors for the husband. He's bringing in the 50 pounds of stuff. And he had gone back out to, I think it was last night. And they said, the president came on and said, lower the flags to half. And Charlie Kirk didn't make it. And I just hit my knee. I was so shocked by my reaction. It felt like somebody else was doing this. And my husband came through the door and he was like, "What's going on? Are you okay?" And I was like, "No, they just killed Charlie Kirk." He didn't know anything about this kid. He doesn't watch any of that stuff. He likes game shows. And he's working. Even though he's retired, he's always doing something. And so he didn't know. And I'm trying to still function while my body's fighting me to weep and rail against what has happened. Who did this? How could this happen? And I spent the next 2 weeks just glued to every channel that had anything to do with it. And that's how I learned that he had the podcast, that he did all that stuff. And nothing pretty much after that. Now, Candace Owens, girl, love you. Lusa, take some breaks. I know you want to know what happened to your friend, and I admire you, and I have watched you for many years, and I've admired you for many years. I understand that there's stuff against the widow. People are saying there's stuff against the friends. They're saying against the security forces. They're saying he had ordered an outside audit. He claimed money was missing. Israel was pulling donations because he was refusing to do whatever purportedly that Israel wanted him to talking points or what have you. So there's all this going on. You've got some information on the 23-year-old who supposedly just thought he was too hateful to live and used his grandfather's World War One 30-06 to shoot him downrange from 140 feet away. Now, this buddy could make that. I could have made that shot at 18. I had training. My husband's a sniper, trained and served. So even in my area of expertise, I could have done it easily. But and I see the sprint across the roof, the drop 14. You got to be in top shape to do that kind of shit, and you've got to be able to do it. And it's not that easy. You can't just in your head go, tomorrow I'm going to run across the roof after I shoot, and jump down with the rifle and throw it in a bush somewhere, and then I'm going to text my buddy. It just doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. How did he get the gun up there? There's just a couple of grainy pictures from the stairwell. Apparently, that's where he went up, but we can't tell that he's got a rifle broke down. It's a World War One rifle. They didn't break down that easy. And they showed different weapons, but they've showed rifles from World War One to break them down, and it took about 5 to 10 minutes in most cases. And these were experts. They handled firearms of this type all the time. And I saw them shooting through the jello because the first thing I said, 30-06 would have decapitated the boy. Then I heard that cervical 2 to T1 was blown out, and that the bullet had come to rest at T1, just like under the shoulder blade. And that would be thoracic is T1. And so even then, I said he would have died instantly or just about, because that would have stopped everything by blowing the spinal column out. The lungs would stop, the heart would stop. All that was just instantly stopped. I would, from studies from people who were decapitated, and apparently there's a 2 to 3 second timer that the brain doesn't know it's dead yet, so you could be seeing a mouth move or eyes move, but it's pretty much instantaneous. And I was like, what's going on here? What? And then there's no information except what Candace is saying. And then everybody's trying to go like hate out full on her. And I didn't get that either. Um, so I'm still gobsmacked because when I hit my knees, I said out loud, this smacks of JFK. I had just that second heard this boy had been assassinated. And yet the first thing that crosses my mind is this is JFK on steroids. And I was absolutely shocked to see other people came to the same conclusion. And that was sometime perhaps after. But I had said that the instant that I heard it. I finally got under control enough to do things away. And then I just sat in the chair and sobbed. I mean, it was, and I was so shocked. In my head, I'm like, what is wrong with you? You're what's going on here? I hadn't grieved like that for anyone since Lady Diana, Princess Diana, had been killed. And so, in your head, you're going, stop that. But for weeks afterwards, I would just bust into tears. Now I finally gotten past that part, and I've gotten angrier. And people are they're just attacking Candace Owens and Tucker Carlson in particular. Those two stand out. There was things about whether Israel was involved in this or something. And I thought, well, how silly would that be? But then Benjamin Netanyahu is on live talking, reading a letter he got from Charlie Kirk. And I'm like, what? And what is going on here? This is 20 seconds after Israel's name has hit the airwaves as a possible involvement the prime minister is up there doing this. And this is so strange. I could see someone who, one of his aides or something like that, maybe saying, well, we have a letter here for Charlie, and you can see that Charlie doesn't hate us. Charlie never hated anybody as far as that goes. But all of these little things caught my attention, and it turns out I wasn't the only one that whose attention was caught. So I'm trying to leave that one there. And the government is back again. Like I said, the House finally got in there and signed it. You see, they have to actually sign it and then take it to the president to sign. You have to have the original document. They make all of us go digital, but apparently the Capitol can work on analog. Ride that back over there. It's still so crazy. As far as the renovations that have been done in the Rose Garden and so forth, they've been lovely. It's been well done. Did not cost the taxpayers a dime. They were donations. The ballroom thing, they took down the East Wing. Wait, does anybody know what's in the East Wing? Been there. Not a damn thing, really, that you can't move around and maybe more rooms. He's a builder. It's what he does. And the White House it wasn't sufficient in 1866 after the Civil War. President Lincoln actually borrowed money, had to tie his suitcase together with a rope because it wouldn't stay together. And he had to borrow money to go down to Washington from Illinois or go up to become president. He had to borrow money to get there. His wife gets there, she freaks the fuck out because there's not even a chair. They used to have to wash their laundry by hand and hang it up in there. None of that really has changed in many cases. I mean, you moved a few things around. Jackie Kennedy did a good job of running down the things that should have stayed at the White House. She recovered the Lincoln bedroom. She did these things, and she did a great job at it. But if you've never been there, it's a house. People live there. They work there. It gets dirty. People in and out, in and out, in and out. We're not even talking about the people like the president. I'm talking about a 400 staff they got going on out there, with the red button for the Coke. It's just like, get a Coca-Cola, run it over here. It's going to track things out. It's going to get dirty, and it does. I've seen it. Now, I don't know how often they do things like this. I've only seen it with Obama spending millions to put in a tennis court, and it was taxpayer money. And nobody had a problem with that. But they got a problem with Trump doing it, and it doesn't cost the taxpayer anything. And these are things that needs to be done. Yeah, if you've never been outside the United States, pull it up, go to Google, do a search, look at Versailles. When you go there, or say the Windsor Castle, and you come back and you're like, damn, everything here is so. You're like, I don't want to bring them here. I know. That's what I feel. They'll never get that carpet clean. I don't want them coming here. Because there's such a big difference in Europe to us. Europe is very old. The Americas are old, but people were using teepees. I'm just saying. My husband's a Native American. No hate mail. So on that note. So I was not upset about this. Actually, I got upset a little bit when they came out again, stressing the fact that the Epstein files, they're not happy they haven't got enough of the files back or some shit. Get over it. Oh, at the same time, I'm like, what is the deal with this? Pam Bondi, bless her heart, she hung herself on that one. I'm getting all these files out, Kennedy's, Bobby, Jada, nada, nothing. I didn't see much anything on anything. Not that I did a deep dive on most of it because I knew I lived through this. I knew that even if it wasn't blacked out pages, what have you, you weren't going to understand a damn thing when she got through with it. It wasn't going to tell you nothing. It's going just a word salad. I like that clause. clusterfuck is the way I think about it, but I'll go with them. Yes, I see my crosses come out. God knows I'm not sorry. There are certain things that probably ought to be backed up with swear words, and then there are probably other ones that shouldn't be. I'm a student of George Carlin. Look it up. Love George. Cat Williams is another one of my go-tos. Every time I see Cat Williams, I just die laughing. He was on. I caught him on one of the. I don't remember if it was Showtime or HBO, but one of his hour-long stand-up routines, and he was talking about Trump, but he was talking about Trump in the first term, and he was like, "Our president is a fucking vampire. He never fucking sleep. At 3 a.m., he's in the bathroom with his thing, and he's blowing up. But here, our president don't give a fuck." Don't quote him. I didn't quote him very well, and I didn't do it as well as I should have. But you get where I'm going. Pixie, down you go. Down you go. That's Pixie. And since I've thrown her off the bar, I put runners up here because of the cats. Because no matter what I tell them, no matter how many times I spray them down with water, as soon as they think I'm not looking, they're on the bar. Or they'll wait till I go to bed and I'll find them on the bar the next morning. So we run a kind of sanctuary here. We live on a cul-de-sac. Before the hurricane, we had this huge like forest on a couple of our acres of our land, and then about a half an acre next to us. And so I love that because I couldn't see my neighbors. And my other neighbor on one side, he had these huge high fences. He was like me, but I value my privacy. I just, and my grandson, I think summed it up. He says, "Grandma, you just don't like folk, do you?" No. I've always been lady, get the fuck out of my way. I mean, if I have to tell you you're in my way, somebody take that name. So yeah, I was always like that. Might be good, might be bad. With this is social Woodstock. I like seeing this. I like being able to jump in there because I haven't watched what they call now legacy. Yeah, slap her. She wanted to put her face in my drink. You know better than that. And they sit there and they look at you. And they have this look. Okay, yeah. You're still looking? You're getting busy. You're still looking? And you're just like exasperated at one point or another, going, "It's a cat. How is it? How's the cat winning?" This cat is literally, I'm touching it. So you can see my hand and I can touch the cat. She's not moving. When she does, it'll be, I don't know if people remember, but like in the $6 Million Man, everything slowed down. That's what she does. Slowly she'll move. Tries me to drink, which it's not a fur drive, but you get my point. And actually, I am beginning to enjoy this again. A lot of my friends will not come on. They're, "How do you do that?" I do this with everybody. I talk to the brochure like this. I call them a brochure because they don't do anything. We are unpaid, untrained cashiers. They don't do anything but, "Hiya." No, you didn't. You missed one. Or no, you got to scan it this way. It's on the bottom. Yeah, make sure you get the other one scanned, and somebody will check your receipt on the way out. Like I was stating earlier, Walmart has now started locking up things. Makeup, in particular, I just noticed that, and this is at a little store. And I had seen it at my husband. My husband likes the main one that's just a couple miles in the other direction from us. You can spit and hit a Walmart or each direction of the compass. You walk to them. And then we have Kroger. So in any event, yeah, they they started locking stuff up, and there was an alert yesterday that was out. So my husband called me and he says, "You need to get one of your weapons next to you." So Robert, you know I always have a weapon next to me. What's going on? They said, "No, somebody escaped again." It's the South, man. And then everybody's just to shelter in place and all that stuff. But yeah, I have concealed carry. So I mean, yeah, I always have a weapon. I always had a weapon since yeah, 17 years old when I went military. And especially when I came back from Europe, I did, because one of the first things I said when I landed in O'Hara several times during the time I stayed at Europe. And I kept saying, oh my God, you guys are so right for a terrorist attack. This is late 70s, early 80s. And when I landed in DC the first time, I was like, this is the military complex. This is all that, the government, all that. And y'all aren't thinking, we might want to keep an eye out over here. I'm just, at what point did any of you go, yeah, it's safe? People are being mugged and shot and raped and killed, all of this mess. And this isn't new. This shit was going on in the 70s when I was in and out of DC. So it's not new. It's not none of that Antifa, although somebody really does need to, finally, they call them the terrorists that they are, but they need to do something with them. Like El Cid or Gator Gitmo. Yeah, I have no problem with getting these people out of the country. Have you served your country in any capacity, in particular in the military, you probably wouldn't want them here either. And if they were next fucking door to you, I know you wouldn't want them. Then would you be out there then going, stopping that truck after they raped your 4-year-old? Would you be doing that? No, you wouldn't. So you need to freaking look. You don't need to go out there and try to impede federal agents. I'm not sure what's going on, because when they started doing sanctuary cities, I said, that's civil war. That's sedition. That's secession from the state. It's everything that we call the Civil War in history class. And I'm a total historian about these things. Look them up. I mean, I even have an outfit that I made to mirror um, Queen Victoria, and it's everything that she had on, and I had to do it all myself. But that's how if I'm going to do a historical figure, I'm going to try to do it to the best of my ability. And I'm not seeing that in my government, like the shutdown shit. They said they were going to go ahead and pass it. I don't understand how all these senators have to listen to Schumer and Senator, I don't even going to call him that. Oh, Chucky boy. Did their people vote for him? That was Pixie. She decided to come on stage. No, those people did not all vote for Chuck Schumer. I believe there was other senators, because he was saying, don't vote. Yes, we don't want that yet. If they can't give us the $1 trillion for health care for the illegals, then nope, we're not going to do it. But they said they was finally going to do it. Apparently 8 Democrats broke rank and voted with the Republicans to pass the said bill to open the government till January 1st, mind you. January 1st. We're going to have to go through that again. They're given reasons for such, and such. The Republicans were, well, we're not paying the illegals anymore. That was it. But when they're saying, okay, we're going to pass this, I had no idea that they had taken the House and sent them home. For what? It's not even the holidays yet. I mean, what? These people made $200 million last year. What? One thing, they had a fucking one job, and this time they can sign a bill. People can't pay their house payments. Now SNAP, they say, has gone off. I was involved with my ex-mother-in-law in DC. That was what I did when I first arrived, was we were ironing out at that time called the food stamp program. And some still call it that, the funny money, called monopoly money. And that's where I worked for years. So to get this off the ground. And it wasn't 40 odd million people having to have them. And now it's 40 some odd million people. And I don't know why, because they're all able to work and they all have baby daddies who work. So, and I know this because my second job for years, back before you even did barcoding, was cashier. So, and I would see them come in. The women had, the WIC cards and the food stamps and all this. And then the husbands would be behind them with 2 carts of beer and limes and wads of cash. And it always pissed me off. I worked in 2 jobs. And I'm old. hell do you keep getting money? Then I heard that there were so many, they're trying to claw back 12,000 CDLs. 12,000 CDLs California's trying to get back now because these people didn't speak English. They didn't take a test. They just gave them a fucking, sorry, CDL, not sorry, a CDL. But my husband had to pay that. This is to drive a big rig, to drive a truck. My husband paid $600 every time he had to re up his and take the test. He was also tested for drugs every week or two. They never told him. They would just catch him and do this. But these guys, I watched that footage of that guy killing those people in that car. They did something to him. He had road rage, and he deliberately stopped and turned the semi where he knew they would not have time to get to braking or avoid him. He took up every lane with that trailer. He knew exactly what he was doing, irregardless of whether he didn't know one of our signs or something. That bastard actually did that on purpose. He killed 3 people, and he did it on purpose. I watched that footage. People are going, he looks like he doesn't even notice her. No, he knew. He wasn't. It didn't surprise him. He knew exactly what he was doing. If you drive a truck either in India or here, you still know how to drive a fucking truck. But you should have to go through the same things that anybody else does to get a CDL. And these guys did. So now they want to take all these back. Well, isn't that just bloody hell kind of view? These big rigs don't just stay in California. These are long haulers. So they could be out for a week in some other state or going through 15 states. And they did, and they still do. So people that will die because California decided they had to have a license probably won't be from California. They'll be killing them in Illinois. They'll be killing them in Florida. They'll kill them coming across Georgia. There's no telling where. Clawing them back. Why the hell do they have them? That's just, and especially after seeing that clip, that guy deliberately killed those people. He deliberately killed them. And in India, he probably would have got a slap on the wrist and let go. I don't know why they're here. I worked with Indians for many years, and I like them. Their work ethic is astounding. They never sleep. They speak better English than most of us do. But I can't figure out why so many want to be here. And I was asking, I called her grandma. I was like, Grandma, why does everybody want to be here? Because they were owners of hotels, and then they were by Subway, whatever. And she would say, well, because there's no room in India. You can't even walk in India. You can walk here. And their temple was better than any church I'd say around in that area of that city. And she could walk to it. And I would watch as cash came in. He refused to use computers for years. And finally they said, we're stripping Super 8 or whatever it was from your hotel then. So, okay, here comes the computers. And they asked me to come back at that point because the computers came in. And I had gone, I think, to base and started working there. So I came back to help, do the staff and teach them the computers and do all that. And sometimes I would run it by myself because they would fly to India. So I'd be in the room and, where I could hear everybody if they came up, and wanted the room. They had to go to a window with a loudspeaker so I could hear them. And they would go I saw stacks of cash. And whenever I put the computers in, you couldn't take anything in cash and put it on the computer. You could put it down on the sheet that you had to write it in. Everything had to be written on that sheet. And then I'll do the books. I take that. So I know for a fact he never reported a single dime of cash that walked through that hotel. And a lot of cash came through that hotel. But what do? You can't say anything. Who are you going to say it to? They're going even back then, you were racist if you said, well, they just walked out with $50 million. And they're calling it the eighth marvel of the world. I forget. What is it? A temple? Something they're building in India. They may have finished it. I don't know. But I know that a lot of American money went. I know a lot of Indians moved here. They don't have to have staff because the grandparents are there. The nieces and nephews are there. The cousins are there. The brothers or sisters of both, the couple are there. So within a year or two of buying the hotel, you've got 40 relatives working for you, living in one room. Uh, and if it wasn't full, they could have their own room. But if it was full, they all slept up and they made your quarters. And there was nothing you could say or do. Nothing. You still can't. In some cities, it was always 7-Elevens. They love 7-Elevens. But either way, this has been going on for decades. And now they're finding out, just like I said about my little stores, they've got the bulletproof stuff up there now. Crime is starting to get worse here in Augusta. And I have to admit, I was totally shocked because I've been here. This is the longest I've ever lived in one place, ever. In my entire life have I lived this long in one spot. And I have here. We took my son's starter home so they could buy a bigger home because they were having another baby, and his son was already 13, so they wanted a bigger home. They made good money, but they didn't want to do the loan unless somebody was buying the other house. So we stepped in, and we took the starter home, and they moved into a big thing that I would not want to clean. I'm fussing about having to clean here. Oh, held that backfire. Wrong way. Did that yesterday. And then you can't stop coughing. I think I've touched on a bit of things today. What I really wanted to say, I don't know. I never did. Just like I said, I just get up here and talk my ass off. I might bitch a little. Hard to say with me. On my other channel, I had quite a few people. And again, I took 10 months off. I put in why. I did, do that. It was difficult for me to do anything for that 10 months. So nobody heard from me basically for that 10 months. And then when I started again, like I said, I had to go and invent a second channel to do that. And so I'm hoping everybody will see me that was with me to begin with. Those of you who are new, hope you enjoyed seeing me for just 10 seconds and hit the like and all that stuff because they like us to do that. If there's anything, again, I tell everybody at the end of the program, I try not to take more than an hour, although sometimes I could talk longer. I would love to have guests, but it's not like Joe Rogan's coming on my show. Hey, Joe, watch Just This News Radio. Love you, guy. And I doubt anybody else would get that, but Joe, it's a long time ago, and he was funny as hell. Bill Maher. Hey, Bill, been watching you a long time since he was stand-up. Just stand-up, not politically incorrect. And Bill Maher and all that. He was just a stand-up guy. Was fucking funny. I love comment. I just do. If you can laugh about it, it just feels good. I used to go out all the time to see the comedians. I used to go to the comedy club, and they used to give me free tickets to take 7, 8 people with us. So we always had the front table, and I was always fucking with them. They'd fuck that. They knew me by the time, they'd been around the circuit 2 or 3 times. How you doing tonight? Fuck all. But there are so many now. When I started this, I asked I said to my husband, I wanted to get a starter kit to do a podcast. And I knew I wouldn't, I'm not influential. I don't know people. And I don't like to drop videos either. If you want to talk about them, I want to talk about them too. But I don't want to throw somebody else's stuff in there. If you want to see it, you really want me to put it up, just say so. I'll do that. But in all the times that I've done this, I have yet to drop a video because you pull it up and they have to watch it again for 3 minutes or what have you. And then you can talk about it. Everybody's seen it. Everybody's seen it. There's 14 million views on that video. Come talk to me about it. I watched a guy taking apart the Epstein case that I mentioned earlier. And the cell where he had committed suicide. The top bunk was bare, except for rows of medicine and stuff like this. Which instantly I was like, excuse me? And I'd never seen these photos. And then it shows the photo of what's supposed to have been how he killed himself, this red sheet. I was like, this is sheet? Because it looked like a scarf with a knot in it. It was open with a knot in it. It looked like a scarf. And there was another machine there. It turns out that was a CPAP because he was not breathing in his sleep. They had just taken him on a suicide watch, and yet there's 20 rows of pills up there, 20 different types. I mean, there's a huge electrical cord on this machine. Easy to kill yourself with that. They don't let you have your shoestrings, but they're going to let him have 20 different meds sitting on a bedroom, allow him to have a CPAP machine in the room that's got a 400-foot cord. What the fuck all was that? And it looked like a dump in there. And this guy was supposed to only been in there a day, but none of that stuff could you have in a prison cell. You can't have it. They will come around with the little paper cup. It would be like when you're in the hospital and you've got rows of medication across the top of your bed. Do you have that? No, you don't fucking have that. No, you just don't. And you sure as hell don't in a prison. When you're in a cell, you got a bunk, a pillow, and a sheet. I think that's just like it. If you're there for 20 years, you're there 10 minutes. They don't care. Like I said, they done took shoestrings, anything. All you got is a sweatsuit and a bed. Now, the red scarf thing, I called it a scarf, is supposed to have been the sheet that he killed himself with and all this stuff. None of it makes sense. I got to agree with that. I had not seen the footage that this gentleman proffered and said, this is shots of his cell. And I was like, well, this all screams he didn't kill himself. It just screams it. It doesn't, it's not two or three people going, it could be. No, it's absolutely, there's something very wrong here type thing. So I wanted to touch base on that, but I'm running out of time. So if anybody wants to talk about any of that stuff, throw it in the comments. I also saw some great stuff last night. I'm doing this little art thing, and I like to cross stitch. I'm old. Forgive me. As long as I'm not cleaning that day, I'm in there. I hate cleaning it anymore. I used to love it. Now I hate cleaning it anymore. It's rough being an old woman today. Okay, I didn't want to get everybody up here and say, "Oh no, this or that." The one I watched, I watched several. I like Slapped Ham. Sorry, guys, but I like you. I like AJ and Hucklefish on the Wi-Fi. Bob Morris. He's got a bar. I thought when I opened mine, I thought I might not be at a bar. It'd be different. Now everybody has a fucking bar that they're broadcasting from. So either I had a really good idea just too late, or everybody copied me, and I really doubt that. So I tried to keep this, like I said, to an hour. Friends of mine and relatives are all like, I don't know how you can get up there and talk for an hour. I think my husband says it's better than her shouting at the TV. And yes, I do. I'll sit there and argue with the TV. No, that can't be right. You got to stop. And it annoys me. I think it's called legacy media. Like just now, I had a real break there. I saw the legacy media they call it. I kept saying I quit watching decades ago, and it's like it's not news. It's politics. It's not news. It isn't even good politics to me. It's all this side. It's not politics. It's a version of whatever they want you to see of politics, and the same with all the others. Most of the time, they seem to agree. So I'm still whacked out on some of this shit. I don't freaking know. So I did watch some of them, and I ended up. I love these scarves. I do some reviewing of things from a company I've been buying things for over a decade, and now I get to they send me stuff. So this is kind of my payment. And I love just checking them out. I call it taking them for a walk. This was floor length, and like I said, I think I said this panel here type goes through the front, and it's an 8-9, so it moves in a sway pattern. It's very lovely. So my husband's probably at his wit's end because I do not really try to like to get one of my legs that was so damaged into jeans, and skinny jeans in particular, because I don't know about y'all, but mine swells up during the day if I'm on it, and I'm on it all the time. So I would have a lot of trouble getting this off. and it was a lot of pain. And finally, I started. I've always worn, well, for 15 years, the vintage 50s look with the crinolines, and it goes down to about mid calf. But I started dropping them all the way to what we used to call the maxi dress, all the way to the floor. And luckily, I have a great machine and a husband who doesn't fuss, because I'm always, when they send it, or even if I buy it, I'm only 5'2". So it's always too long. So I'm in here hemming things, so I can wear pants. It doesn't matter; it's too long. The only thing I seem to get right is our blouses and things like that. Some of the dresses are perfect; they're just a quarter inch above the floor. So when you wear shoes, you're about an inch or so up. Even though I have to have flat shoes now, so that some of them work great, or I'll put them together and they work great after that. So I've kind of switched to these and the 50s look. And now I got to get in there and take out 400 pairs of pants and jeans because I just don't wear them. And I kept saying I was going to do this, and I was just going to have a, well, last time I did it, I just took it all to Goodwill. I found out Goodwill's president's making 20 million a year salary. And I was like, holy shit. So then I thought about it. I was like, we're giving people this stuff and then we come in and buy it. But it did not occur to me for 20 years that, well, of course they're paying them. So you're giving them free shit to make money on that actually I've even gone in and done. So this time I wanted to I said, I'll do like mom. I hated going to garage sales or whatever they call them. I hated it, just hated it. So I kept avoiding it for all my life. And now I'm like, okay, I've got all these bins of clothes. I'm just going to go ahead and put them out there and probably get rid of them in a couple of days. They're all in good shape. Can't do it. Get it to the door. So my husband's kind of cut me off from the upstairs closets, which I don't mind because I don't do stairs anymore. It wasn't hard for me to make that decision, but it is hard when you have a lot of clothes and you don't have a lot of space. The master bedroom doesn't have all that. And my husband has, well, we turned the upstairs rooms into mini apartments because during the pandemic, my grandson came home from Korea and he was now a veteran. He was no longer in the Army, he was an Army veteran. So he had just come in before they cut the flights out. So he stayed with us for about a year and a half after his return because everything was locked down. He couldn't get a job, couldn't do anything. He did finally, as soon as they opened things up, he was out. He was gone. But it took a little while. And so it was just easier to make all of it that way. And of course, sometimes I'd cook whatever, but we still maintained distance and gloves and all this crap. So it was just basically we lived on takeaway. But I see my time is up for tonight. So, well, today. I give it today. It's not nighttime yet, but it sure comes quicker after they do that daylight thing. I just wish they'd leave the damn time alone. I'm old, I'm tired, I don't want to keep going. No, it's forward. So come see me. Paranormal, ghosts, what have you. I did see some good last night, but I forgot to tell you which ones they were. I just right over here. So if you enjoyed yourself, if you'd like to see or talk about anything else, please send it to me in the comments. Join me on my live chat. If you tickle the bell, you'll know when I'm up here, which is probably what most people are hiding from. Not very well either. I mean, my son's an exit away. He does not watch. No, my husband, nope, doesn't watch. Yeah, I want to see it. I don't even ask why. I just go, okay. I don't care. This is a great social Woodstock. This is a way to get out here, people, and tell everybody, I'm pissed off and I don't want to do this anymore. Or, hey, our city's rocking. How y'all doing? Whatever floats your boat, as they say. So come see me, drop in a line, drop in a hi. I would love that. I do not make money at this, but I'm not averse to making money, but I'm thinking that's probably not the way it's going to go. But we'll hold our breath on that. In the meantime, it's Friday. I don't broadcast on the weekends anymore either. So I won't see you till Monday. So go out there, make it a great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. See y'all.